Our topic for today is UI macros. So UI macros are used to make advanced changes on the form. Advanced changes on the form. Okay. Well, guys, what are these advanced changes? If you go to the HR case form, if you go to the HR case form, open the HR case form. As soon as I open the form, as soon as I open the form, I want to show a logo here. As soon as I open the form, I want to show a logo here, just above the logo field. So, guys, if you create a image type of field, if you create a image type of field, when you add the image, that image will only be appearing for only one particular record. When you create a image type of field, this is actually image type of field, guys. If you just see here, this is a image type of field. If you create a image type of field, if you add a image to it, if you add a image to it, that image will only be applicable to, okay, this image will only be applicable to this particular record only. If I open a new form, that image won't appear for this particular record. Okay, this image that I uploaded is only for this particular record. If I open a new form, you have to again upload a new image particularly for this particular record. Okay. So, well, it is not my requirement. As per my requirement, as soon as I open the form, logo should be shown always on the form. Logo should be shown always on the form, guys. Okay. So if I have to show the logo always on the form, I have to create a UI macro. I have to create a UI macro. Okay. Add company underscore logo. I'm just creating a UI macro. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to the application navigator. Just to type images there. Okay. JAVASCRIPT.png. I'm just uploading the image here. I have uploaded the image here. Okay. So I created an image here, guys. Go to the images. I created an image here. That is actually javascript.png. Open this particular image. Okay. Copy this particular HTML tag. Go to the UI macro. Put the tag here. Okay. So width height I am keeping 200, 200. Just create a UI macro. So this macro should appear in the middle, right? Then I am writing some style tag. So this image should be in the division tag, guys. This image should be in the division tag. I'm giving the ID to this particular division tag. Okay, JS. So now what I'm doing is I'm just giving some style tag. So for IDs, we will use hash JS center. I just created a UI macro. I just created a UI macro. In the UI macro, I called the image, see whatever the image that we have here, right? In the UI macro, I have called that image. That image I am actually showing in the center. Okay, fine. After that, you have to create a formatter. I am creating a formatter. JavaScript logo. So you have to call this UI macro in the UI formatter. You have to call the UI macro in the UI formatter using UI macro name .xml. Will be HR case here. Create a UI macro. Okay, create a UI macro. Now what am I doing is I am going to the form layout. So in the form layout, I am going to get this formatter, JavaScript logo, right? JavaScript logo. This is the formatter. This formatter, I am adding it to right side. I am just adding under above logo. You can see this image will be shown every time when you open the form. I am closing out this one. I am opening the HR case form here. I'm opening the HR case form here. Every time when I open the form, this logo will be shown always. You understand my point, everyone? Okay. Similarly, I want to. So first of all, what I have done, I have created an image. I called that image in the UI macro. I called that UI macro in the formatter. I added the formatter on the form. This the flow you are able to understand, right? First, I uploaded the image in the images. Called that image here in the UI macro. I called the UI macro in the formatter. I added the formatter on the form. Okay. So that is how you will actually create the UI macro and you will call that macro on the form. And now I am just opening the HR case form again. Okay. In this form, I have to show the company URLs above the number. Okay. For that, I am creating another UI macro. I'm creating a new UI macro. Okay. I'm adding some division tag here. So to this division tag, I am giving the ID. ID is equal to ID is equal to UCS URL. Okay. Okay. I want to give some styling to it. Okay. I created a UI macro, right? I have to call this UI macro in the formatter. I am creating a formatter now. I am going to create a formatter. Dot XML UCS URLs. Table will be HR case table. You create a formatter. You go to the form, refresh this one, and right click, configure form layout. Okay. So these are actually showing something like this. These should be shown in a line by line. We have to use break. BR means break. Go to the form and refresh this one. You can see the company URLs are actually showing something like this. Company URLs. If you want to change the URLs, you can change the URLs here. Okay. Every time when I open the form, okay. So these URLs and this logo also will be appearing by default along with the fields. This URLs and this logo will be appearing always on the form. Okay. These UI macros should appear only on the existing record. These UI macros should not appear on the new record. Then I am actually creating an onload client script. Right click, configure client scripts. Okay. Show macros only on existing record. I'm writing an onload client script. In the onload client script, what am I doing is new record. If it is new record, if it is not a new record. Okay, if it is a new record, we should not show it. If it is an existing record, we have to show it. So then what we have to do, we have to use gel id name dot style dot display is equal to none. None means don't show it. Don't show it. Block means show it. Okay, IDs you have to provide here. IDs, UI macro IDs. So this UI macro ID is actually this one, UCS URL. The previous one ID is JS. So that what happens, if it is a new record, it will not show. If it is an existing record, it will show. And this is a new record, right? On the new record, UI macro should not be shown. Still it is showing, right? Still it is showing. Okay. Still it is showing. Here, guys, remember when you are using IDs, you see here, new client scripts run on strict mode with direct DOM access disabled. So gel is actually DOM related. Gel is actually DOM related. So in that case, what we have to do, we have to uncheck this check. Isolate script checkbox, you have to uncheck it. So when you are using IDs, you have to uncheck this isolate script. Okay. Now we'll go and refresh this one. In the new form, it will hide the UI macros. So is it hiding the UI macros on the new form? If it is an existing record, the UI macros will be shown on the form. This is an existing record, right? You are able to see the UI macros on the existing record. So here what we are doing, we are writing a onload client script. In the onload client script, if it is a new record, hide the UI macros. If it is an existing record, show the UI macros. If it is an existing record, show the UI macros. So that is what the logic that I have written here. So guys, like you have field names, field has field name, but UI macros has ID. So, like you have field name, UI macro has ID. This ID is very important, guys. You also have seen ID in the UI macros as well. You also have seen ID in the UI macros as well. Okay. Okay. So, previous UI macro as well, there was an ID. So, in this UI macro also, you can see the ID is JS here. ID is very important in the UI macro. Okay. Okay. So, normally, guys, if you see, this close is actually a UI action. Close is actually a UI action. Hmm? UI action or not? This close is a UI action. Create incident is a UI action. Okay. Create incident is a UI action. Create problem is a UI action. On hold is a UI action. On hold is a UI action. Work in progress is a UI action. Uh, and resolve is a UI action. Well, guys, these UI actions, if I want to show in the middle of the form, so I want to show resolve button after the on hold reason field. I want to show this resolve button after the on hold reason field. Then what I have to do? I have to create another UI macro, UCS. Okay. HR case resolve. UCS HR case resolve. Okay. What am I doing is here I want to call this button. I want to show this button. Where is that button? I want to show this button. I want to call this button from this particular macro. Creating a HTML tag. So I'm not actually creating button tag. I'm actually using class is equal to on click is equal to resolve HR case resolve button. So I have created a UI macro. Let me create it in the div tag. Okay. I'm just giving some styling to it. Okay. So here resolve center. Okay. I'm writing some script tag as well. In this script tag, whenever you click on this button, this function will be called. in this button, I'll call the UI page. Okay. Let me just save this one. I created a UI macro, right? So for this one, I have to create a format again. I have to create a format again. Okay. Mm. UCS HR case resolve. UI macro name. Dot XML. This is actually HR case table. I have to add this format on the form. Right click, configure, go to form layout. Where is the resolve action? Okay, resolve action. Add this resolve action just below the on hold reason field. Now you can see, able to see resolve button here. So instead of showing the resolve button here, I am able to show the resolve button here. So whenever I click on this button, it has to call the UI page, right? Okay. So let me just go to UI macros. UI actions. So in the UI macro, so here in this function, whenever you click on this button, this function will be called. Inside this function, I am calling the UI macro. So now you go to the form and refresh this button. Refresh the form. You are able to see resolve button here. Whenever you click on this button, it will call the UI page. Whenever you click on resolve button, it will call the UI page. Whenever you click on resolve button, it is calling the UI page. So instead of showing the, so usually UI actions will be shown here. So if you want to show the button in the middle of the form, you have to create a UI macro and you have to call that macro on the form. You have to create a UI macro. You have to call that macro on the form. And for whenever I click on that button, resolve button, I am able to call the UI page or not. Guys, everyone, you are able to understand. We are able to call the UI macro, right? So likewise, you can make advanced changes on the form using UI macros. So you can make the advanced changes on the form using UI macros. Getting my point? So similarly, I want to create on hold button. I want to create close button. I want to show in the middle of the form. Then what I will do, I'll use close. You can change the UI page name. Okay. So after creating the UI macro, I have to create a formatter again. UI macro name.xml. Right click, configure, go to form layout, close action. Okay. You will be able to see another button called close action. Whenever you click on this button, it is actually showing the another UI page. So whenever you click on this button, it is showing the UI page. So it is working similar to the UI action, right? So if I want to show the button in the middle of the form, what I have to do, I have to use a UI macro. Getting my point? We'll change the ID to this one. Okay. Getting my point? Okay. And here, likewise, you can create the UI macros. You can show the macros on the forms, guys. Okay. Likewise, you can create the UI macros and you can show the macros on the form. Okay. And here, you can directly show the UI macro on the dictionary instead of showing it on the form. See, in fact, every field is a UI macro, guys. In fact, every field is a UI macro. If you go to the UI macros, so for reference field, there is a separate UI macro, UI underscore reference. This is actually here. This one is a UI macro. This part is a UI macro. This is a UI macro, guys. Every field is a UI macro. In fact, every field is a UI macro. Okay. For choice, there will be a separate UI macro. Choice input field. Date related. So date time. So date time. This is a UI macro. This is a UI macro. Okay. Reference list. UI underscore list breadcrumb. So likewise, you can show this is every field is a UI macro. In fact, you should believe that. Okay. So guys, instead of creating the formatters, okay, instead of creating the formatters, okay, instead of creating the formatters, okay, what you can do is you can directly call the UI macro in the field. You can say this is a macro. I called this UI macro on the field. Go to the configuration item field. Scroll down. Click on advanced view. You can see this show help is a UI macro, guys. If you go to UI macros, this is a UI macro. You can directly call the UI macro in the dictionary. So using ref underscore contributions attribute. Okay. So there is a UI macro called show help, right? There is a UI macro called show help. So I want to call this UI macro. I want to show this UI macro just after the department field. So right click, configure dictionary, configure dictionary. Can advanced view. So if there is already an attribute, use comma separated. Ref underscore contributions is equal to UI macro name. So you can call the UI macro directly in the dictionary. You can call the UI macro directly in the dictionary using ref underscore contributions is equal to UI macro name. Okay. You can directly call the UI macro in the dictionary using ref underscore contribution is equal to UI macro name. I'm just clicking on update here. Now you are able to see the UI macro in the just after the department field here. You are able to show the UI macro just after the department field. Okay. So likewise, you can call the UI macros directly in the dictionaries as well. Okay. You're able to understand the UI macros concept, guys? Everyone? So 99% you don't get requirements on UI macros, guys. Okay, 99% you don't get requirements on UI macros. Okay, any questions from anyone? See.
No, Uday.
You're clear?
Yes, Uday. Yeah.
Okay. I want to give you a task here. Okay, I want to give you a task. So just after the assignment group field, just after the assignment group field, I have to show a button. Okay. I have to show a button. Whenever I click on that button, it has to show whatever the group that you selected here, right? Say I have selected application development group. Okay. So just after this particular field, I have to show a button here. just after this one, I have to show a button here. Whenever I click on that button, so how many members are in this particular group? Those many group members, I have to show it in the UI page. So just after this particular assignment, button here. Whenever I click on that button, so in this particular group, how many group members are there? Those many group members, I have to show it in the UI page. You understand the requirement? Do you understand the requirement? For that, you have to create a UI macro. In the UI macro, you have to create a button like this. Whenever that button is clicked, you have to call the UI page. Okay, you have to call the UI page. In that UI page, group members should appear. In that UI page, group members should appear. You got my point? Okay. So I would request you to complete the task. That is the task for today I am giving. Here I have to show a button. Whenever you click on that button, it has to show the UI page. In that UI page, this particular group member should appear. Okay. Guys, as I mentioned, from Monday onwards, I would request you to join at 6 p.m. Okay. Clear? Okay, guys, I'm winding up the session for today and we'll be connecting tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.